Hi everyone, my name is Joe Eddie Roy III.
I'm Jeremy, and this is Tuesday Morning Quarterback, a fan-driven, fan-produced web show about the NFL where each episode will tackle some of the hot-button topics about what's going on in the NFL from a true fan's perspective. First up this week, we're going to talk about Cam Newton and his brilliant performance in his first ever NFL game. Something like 460 yards this guy threw for, out of control. Everybody's talking now about him being way better than the analysts expected, talking about proving the media wrong and all of that stuff. From my perspective, it's one game. I think Cam Newton did a great job. He's obviously a great pocket passer. People were saying he couldn't do it, but he came out. He proved that he could at least do that. He carried the team, put them into a position to win. But to me, I'm going to have to wait and see another 3 or 4 games.
Hell yeah, Cam Newton proved out is wrong, and I'll tell you what, he's going to keep doing it. I've always had faith in my boy, and he's going to keep giving people a hard time because he's just got so many tangibles that are hard to defend. There's no doubt about it, he can play.
Anyway, what do you think about the kickoff? I mean, did that really even do anything? Did that matter? Did it change? I mean, obviously I don't remember anybody getting hurt, but...
Yeah, you know, from a fan's perspective, I was a little annoyed by the change in the rules, but I didn't see any difference really in the game. I think that for a lot of those players that are fielding those kickoffs, it's the only time in the game they're going to get to catch that ball. It's their time really to shine, and they're going to make the most of it. They're going to bring that ball out, even if they're only going to get 15, 18 yards. And honestly, it seems to me the coaches aren't telling them not to. So I don't know how many kickoff returns there actually were, but it didn't seem to be less than a normal game to me. So let's talk about the automatic review of all scoring plays this season. Yeah, I don't see. Initially, I was upset about it because I thought that's going to slow down the game at one of the most exciting points, and that's not what I'm there to watch. I hate taking 4 or 5 minutes to get something right, but ultimately, I want them to get it right. And just watching the Patriots and the Dolphins the other night, there were 2. One that was called a touchdown that really wasn't, and one that was called a no touchdown that actually was. And so from my perspective, I'm all about them getting it right, and I don't mind the time.
From the Dolphins, they were happy because they got a chance.
It actually slowed down the game a little bit, and they got to catch their breath. Tom Brady was putting it to them. But really, I think ultimately, reffing the game is about getting it right. And those go the other direction. It's a completely different ball game for what's happening there that night.
Tweeting, good or bad for the NFL? I think I'm following the wrong people because all the tweets I read are just as boring as most of the people that are in my timeline. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know who you're following, but there definitely are some controversies coming up within the tweets. I mean, you had the Arian Foster with the hamstring thing, which to me was a horrible idea, and his coaches should be on him about that. But then you've got a lot of controversy, especially right now with Ocho Cinco, Teddy Bruschi saying, you know, he shouldn't be tweeting the things he's tweeting, when really his last tweet was nothing more than, wow, the Patriots offense is awesome. You know, he wasn't complaining about not getting the ball. Now, maybe Teddy Bruschi's privy to something that we don't know, but from my perspective, it just gives you a more interesting insight into all of those players within the NFL.
Which is funny, though. Teddy Bruschi's the one that comes off as a dick when usually it's Chad Ochocinco is the one. Chad Ochocinco praising people, and here's Teddy Bruschi looking like...
Teddy Bruschi is a dick. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about my Cowboys this past weekend as well.
Let's talk about your Cowboys.
Yeah, my Cowboys did not... I thought the game was great right up until about 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and then it all went downhill. But I was pleasantly surprised with how well the Cowboys were playing up to then. Now, there's been a lot of Romo bashing going on the past few days, the past few years, to be quite honest with you. Honestly, I'm a Romo defender. I think he's the right guy for that team right there, but he did make some mistakes. Now, the fumble I can almost excuse because he's making an effort for his team. He's trying to get into the end zone. He got hit the wrong way. He needed to protect the ball a little bit more. But, you know, there was a delay of game penalty, and ultimately that interception that he threw to Revis was completely inexcusable. There's no reason for that.
So if Romo keeps making these bonehead mistakes, are we going to have to consider not having the Cowboys on at prime time?
It's America's team.
America's team.
It's America's team, baby.
But at the same time, though, there's nothing worse than like watching some exciting football and then watching like those moments where you're going, oh, really?
Well, obviously I didn't like the ending, but it was an exciting ending, right? And honestly, my final point on Romo is that if he, keeps coming to press conferences and has to keep saying the bottom line is I just have to be better, I don't want to hear that anymore. Bottom line is I just want him to be better.
You gotta be better.
Gotta be better. Right. But my Cowboys aren't the only team with a little quarterback problem right now. What's going on with Tebow there in Denver? It was halfway through the third quarter, and the fans are already chanting for Tebow to come in. And
man, I wish
personally,
in the first quarter the Boo Birds were coming out. It's kind of a shame because first and foremost, one thing we talked about is with Kyle Orton. It's not a situation where I think there were some miscues. It was a chippy, sloppy game, but ultimately it's a problem with the offense being one-dimensional. if
you got to start the running game first.
You got
All offense starts with the running game.
It starts with the running game.
So we ought to let these people know a little bit about who they're watching here. These just morons out rambling about the NFL. My name is Jeremy. I live here in Los Angeles. I'm from Texas. Obviously, you picked up on the fact that I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a personal trainer and an NFL fan. If the games are on, I'm going to be watching. And this show for me is just an outlet to sort of express myself about the NFL in a way that I don't see happening in other points in the media, where we can just kind of come on and you and I can kind of riff back and forth about what's happening from the way a fan really does it, without the raw analytical data and all of that. So just talking about football.
All right, and speaking of trash talk, you can find me on Twitter at JoeRoyIII. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan. I grew up in Boulder. I've been out here living the dream for about 8 years.
So once again, you can find us on Facebook at Tuesday Morning Quarterback, or you can find us on Twitter at Tues Morning Quarterback, TUES Morning Quarterback. All right, so this has been the first show of Tuesday Morning Quarterback. It's going to evolve from here. Things are going to grow. We hope you'll get involved. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.